What's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, is Nestlemania alongside for the ride as a man that is always Elton Strong, JC.
I'm also green like money, baby.
Green like money, smells like money, must be money. The end. So we have a lot to talk about, a huge show ahead of here. We've got Wrestle Dream predictions. We've got NXT No Mercy, which is akin back to the old N64 days for me. And, of course, we've got Jade news. We've got unfortunate news in terms of releases. So where do you want to start, JC?
Well, we'll start right there because green like money, much like me, is Jade Cargill has officially signed with WWE. The news was broken by ESPN, quote unquote, earlier today. And you know what? Nestlemania, I love this because they're making a spectacle of it. They're making it feel like a big day. They have videos of her walking into the PC. They've released like an interview with her. Like it feels like this is like something that we don't always see in the wrestling world because look, the reason why I really like this is because, yes, I'm a surprise guy too. I love surprises, but we knew this was coming. So it's like, you know what? Jade might not be as well known to like some of the audience, people who haven't watched AEW or whatever. It's like, how do we show that she's a big deal right away? Well, we treat her like it's this blockbuster signing and we follow her around for a day and do all this. So I think it's really cool how they've done it. She's happy to be there. She called it a no-brainer. We know she's one of the Cody kids, so the first of many probably to make the walk over there. But I mean, man, there are some dream matches in WWE for her. Bianca, Charlotte, the list can go on. So I'm very excited for her to show up, and I'm excited to see when she will finally debut.
So the one thing that I took from that entire thing, I mean, obviously you made a lot of great points, but the one thing that like really stuck out to me was everything I've been doing up until this signing was preparation. And I went, oof, what a fucking comment. Now, granted,
she was in AAA, baby.
There's no tribalism. Joe. There's no tribalism here in this dojo. Hey, your mom's here. So
hi, Mom.
Hey, we'll put her in. A nice winky face. We love Mrs. Canoe. We love Mama Canoe on this program. And of course, Danny's here to keep me in line. N64 Nestle 64 bad takes. Well, if you keep count, we'll have a long time. Oh, Jade versus Lola. There you go.
I mean, that'd be a hell of a match. You got two of the best young prospects in wrestling right there.
Is she even young? I'm just saying.
Who?
Is Jade young? I think she's like 30
she's
something.
She's young-ish. I mean, she's not as young as Lola, but
well, yeah. I mean, Jesus, that girl's like barely 20 something, right? So
she's like 24, I think.
So anyway, when I was thinking about it, you know, like clearly we've talked about this last week, but it bears repeating here, which was Jade is a star, and realistically, Tony Khan can throw people, you know, a bunch of money, right? But that's all he can offer right now. He can't offer more than just TV time and money. The WWE has the connections, the ability to get, you know, out in front of other people and be on different platforms and then become a bigger star because we've seen it happen. There's so many people who can be bigger stars. And you look at Jade, and Jade's just one of those people that's on a poster, impressive. In the ring, impressive. Just impressive human being overall. When you hear her talk, she's just great. So I think this is a home run slam dunk for everybody involved. Our boy Ben texted us earlier and was like, what do we think? And we were both like, dummy,
no brainer.
You know what I mean?
She is everything you want in a superstar. And I mean, that's the reason why we loved her in AEW, because we look at AEW and there's like it's a lot of the same type of like wrestlers and stuff. But then you look and you see like MJF and Jade Cargill. There's a reason why those type of superstars, Ricky Starks, they stand out because they're not that typical AEW style wrestler. They're more of that WWE style. So of course it always made sense Jade was going to end up here. And obviously we know like her relationship with Cody and everything was probably going to play a factor when free agency did hit. And when the TBS title was no longer around her waist, it kind of felt like writing on the wall. So here we are.
Anything else before we head on to something else?
No, unfortunately, though, when you have big signings, that means there are some big releases. And, you know, WWE does it about once a year. It's part of being a big company. It's unfortunate. We hate it. Never want to see anyone lose their livelihood. I don't have the exact count. I'm not going to list them all off. But, I mean, obviously, the big headline to me is Dolph Ziggler. When you have someone who's been a go-to player in this company for a long time. We kind of saw this coming, though. He hasn't been used much. And I think he's probably accomplished all he probably could accomplish in WWE anyways. He's already been doing other ventures and stuff, but I mean, I'm sure he'll end up in AEW with his brother, at least for an appearance, because I think he has a lot to offer wrestling. But that one, so it wasn't so much of a surprise, but I do think it was by far like the biggest release that they had.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you about Dolph Ziggler. That was kind of a shock for me when I was looking at it and I went, really? Like that guy just seemed like a lifer to me. You know what I mean? Like he actually seemed like somebody that would probably end his career in the WWE. He might still, because
they always come back.
They always come back, exactly. And honestly, they always come home because there's a lot of dollar signs and a lot of easy things that just they can fall back into place. And Dolph Ziggler is a utility player. He is the definition of a utility player. Like he said himself, when they asked him, what are you most, proud of? He said, mostly the money, which made me laugh. But, also thinking about it from this perspective, he's helped so many people in the WWE get to a specific part in their life. So if AEW is lucky enough to snatch up a Dolph Ziggler, I'm not going to say it's going to be a game changer or fucking whatever else they say, but like, it really will make a difference in terms of you have the Billy Guns of the world who have a lot of experience, but Dolph Ziggler's got the experience right now, and I think he can really help some people because we don't see it. But I mean, like, I think Braun Breaker said nice stuff about him. Alana, there's so many people who just said like, they're just doing amazing things with Dolph Ziggler. So I'm very excited to see what happens with him. Just please stay away from comedy. I don't find him funny at all.
I mean, that's part of what he does, but hey, you know what? It is. And obviously we have my boy Shelton Benjamin released, Madcap Moss, another one of the guys we love, people like that. But we did have a special request because this man has been dropping videos on the internet, and that is, he's no longer the top dollar. He's just the dollar because he's only one. Look at, I've always been a defender of Hit Row because I enjoy them, even in this like not as good version without Swerve, because I just think there's something, it's a different type of thing that you get on the show. It's the perfect variety thing. It can work as a babyface, it can work as a heel. And Top Dollar has been a polarizing guy. Excuse me, he's just Dollar now. He has been one of the most polarizing guys since the second he showed up on screen. There's no in between of them. Either you can't stand him or you find him pretty entertaining. And I've always been someone who kind of finds him entertaining. Does he probably talk too much? Sure. But you know what? That's what you have to be with self-promotion. I mean, the reason why Zach Reddy became what he is self-promotion. So, I've enjoyed Dollar's videos since he's been released, and I wish this guy the best because, look, I think whoever gets him will be lucky to have him because this is a guy that he does have the work ethic and he has the creativity that a lot of people just aren't willing to do. He's willing to do it. Even if he's not your favorite, well, guess what? In wrestling, you need bad guys too, and he's a big boy, so you can always do different things with that. So, I'm hoping the best for him, but yeah, I mean, I think this guy's going to keep grinding, and I respect that grind big time, man. I respect that grind.
So I would say a lot about Top Dollar here, but so Bertsky asked us specifically about the video that he pumped out saying, "I'm just Dollar now. I'm the real one," which made me kind of laugh because it kind of made me feel like Enzo Amore-ish a little bit when I was watching it, to be honest with you. Which I was just like, please stay away from Enzo Amore. Just stop. I did feel bad for him because it was like, I didn't take it personal. Now it's personal. I'm like, okay, well, that was a good little bit. I like that. Like you said, on the creativity aspect of it, it definitely helps. But the one thing I didn't get a good fair shake with in terms of watching him was I don't know his wrestling ability. You can make fun of the facts that he fell and all that other stuff, but like besides that, like I don't really know what we have when we're watching a Dollar match. You know what I mean? So I feel like that will be the telltale sign for me. Either he's going to have to rely on showing how good he is as a wrestler, or he's going to forget that and just be a complete, charismatic act, which he's very capable of doing. But like you said, he's going to have to put in a lot of work. He seems like an Impact guy to me. There's something about him that screams Impact. I don't know why.
They would be very lucky to have a guy like him because he's a guy I think that he gets you attention. He's a polarizing guy. Whether you like him or dislike him, like people pay attention to his shit. Like that's what you want. And if you're an Impact, it'd be a huge get. I mean, who knows what the thing with AEW is because he had some slander with them last time, and we don't know where him and Swerve's relationship
sneakers.
What?
Wasn't it about sneakers or something? It was
I don't know. Yeah, the Young Bucks. It's just those guys. I mean, we know they're little fucking children who cry about everything. They're mean to me. Grow up. I mean, the track record's there. Look at every single issue AW has. It's them. It's that little quartet there. But that's beside the point. But yeah, I mean, look at I think Impact would be a good fit, and I think he would actually be really good for them in terms of his in-ring ability. Yeah, I mean, like. He is what he is. He's never going to be a guy go out there and have a classic, but that's not why you're signing Dalla. If you're signing Dalla, it's for like what he's putting on the internet and when he can go up there and get heat because that dude can get heat pretty quickly.
Before we move on, I just want to say now that you said that, it made me think his Impact Digital Championship or Digital Media Championship, that would be perfect for him. That is a absolute, what he does right there with what Bursky was talking about with the Digital Championship would be just a match made in heaven for Impact, I think. So not that I'm trying to push that, but it would be great for all parties involved, I think. But that's just me.
Word.
Anything else before we move on?
Do you have any other comments? And like we said, like there's a lot of really talented people that got released that hopefully will end up.
Shelty B.
Yeah, I mean that one obviously hurts. It's the second time it's happened to me. But again, unfortunately, with all of these releases, they just seem to be people that either weren't being used or were down in NXT and probably weren't coming back.
So we hear on the Dirties of Dirts that they all said, well, just because they were released doesn't mean somebody's not going to come back under a different contract. My question to you or anybody in the chat, who out of the people that have left do you think is most likely to come back very quickly? If at all. I'm just trying to think of who's the most likely. Because for me, I thought like it's got to be somebody like that they value. It can't, you know what I mean? Like that's like the Rick Boogs thing is very interesting to me.
Well, his comments, like that's the thing is like his comments are kind of weird. I'm like, oh, there's something else going on here with him, and I don't think it's what he's saying. But yeah, I mean, I look at the one to me because obviously we didn't talk about Riddle. He was when it came like a day later, and honestly, I think that's the one that was the biggest impact. He's a guy who's on TV every week. He's a guy that was involved in a storyline. I mean, we were loving McRiddle. We obviously know like it just seemed like also what it seemed like with these releases is if anybody that maybe was viewed as a distraction or a problem seemed to be kind of purged in this merger. I mean, Top Dollar wasn't a problem, but he was a guy that kind of like had a big mouth. And then obviously we know Riddle's history. So it seemed like they took the opportunity to kind of drop these guys. So, but I don't know. I mean, Riddle, look at him. Like this is a guy who's in his prime right now. He gets reactions from the crowd no matter what. He has banners in the ring with everyone. Who knows what I'm sure there were tons of reasons why it went, but that would be my pick as a guy that I could see maybe coming back, maybe not like right away, but maybe in like a year or two. It's a guy that like, maybe if he figures some shit out, they bring him back because I mean, especially if Randy Orton never comes back, like that's an untold story right there.
Fair enough. And Bursky says, what about Elias? He kind of didn't love Elias leaving. So look, I think Elias did everything he possibly could have done in that character. So I think for him, specifically the person, not Elias, but I don't know his real name, but for Elias specifically, I think it's a good thing that he's gone for him to kind of see what he can do because he's such a talented guy. I don't think we got the whole smorgasbord buffet of what this person can accomplish because he was kind of pigeonholed with just like go out and do your musical act. And there were some matches where I was pleasantly surprised, like Elias can do that, And so I think those are the kind of things you forget when you're kind of handcuffed with that kind of gimmick. That's my
I kind of agree. I think that he kind of did like plateaued with all he would do in WWE, and they kind of teased the repackage, and then it never really happened, obviously, and it was the Ezekiel thing. So in that, like it worked with KO, but long term, it didn't seem like that would work. So I think it was just it was another one of those that he was just kind of there in the toy box, and no one was playing with the toy anymore. And it's one of those things you're making cuts. I think it was probably a pretty easy decision, unfortunately, for them to make.
What is this? Also T's and P's.
Yeah, Aaliyah, that one hurt. I mean, she got fired as a tag team champion. She never lost that belt. 2-time tag team champion. Someone who's been employed forever, someone that I fell in love with her story back when Breaking Ground was on the network back in the day. That was like my favorite show. And she was like the freshly minted signed year old, 18-year-old with like no experience. Oh my God. Sorry, there was just a
Focus.
massive knockout, and I just won by KO. But oh my God, the guy like literally just like, when like you get the meme and the guy just falls? Yeah, that's what just happened. Actual KO. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, Aaliyah. I love Aaliyah. She's a stud. Fired as a champion, never defeated. She'll always have that, and she'll always she'll have that win over Natty.
She'll always be Aaliyah 317.
Yep.
So there you go. All right, so let's get into the positive part of the show. Always in the shine. Listen, we crapped on a lot last week, but there's a lot I really enjoyed this week. Like a lot.
Yeah, I thought Raw was really good. But before we get to Raw, I'm gonna do this because we were obviously almost 15 minutes in the show now because we started with that stuff. But I'm gonna start on Collision this week in the shine because and new Christian Cage kicking off the show as the TNT champion. I mean, look at like this whole thing is just an absolute blast with Christian and then and Luchasaurus and Darby. The triple threat was a ton of fun. Darby obviously being about to win, Christian Cage throwing him out and pinning his right hand of destruction, Luchasaurus, and technically stealing the championship from him. I thought this was great. I thought the reactions after were great because you got Luchasaurus kind of looking at him like, what the fuck? But at the same time, he still puts up with it. And then immediately, like 2 segments later, you get Christian all like boastful in the back about like being the champion. And he dedicates it to Nick Wayne's mom, said his daddy was upstairs rooting him on from above. And then he's just hit with like, well, you have he has a last man standing match with Darby or something at Wrestle Dream. So I'm just like, man, this is just so good. Like Christian's the run he is on right now with this fucking like dad character and everything. It's so good. It's must see TV every week. And it honestly, it's been saving Collision because a lot of it's been happening on Dynamite too, but like they needed someone to really, really step up. And this guy has stepped up the last couple months, big time for that company.
In terms, I know you're a Christian guy just like me, but in terms of the one more match Christian, where he finally reached his potential versus this, like, I know they're different animals, but if you had to pick, which one do you think will be more remembered?
Probably. I mean, the one more match I don't know if I said this before, but I probably have. The Christian Randy Orton, that feud is my favorite feud of all time. Like it just literally, like if you want to watch like that, just that story, that feud, I just absolutely loved it. And I already loved Christian before that, but that cemented to me that he is one of the greatest to ever do it in my mind, for personally. But this run right now he is on is incredible. Like you talk about like someone who's in like their golden years and someone who was supposed to be done and we thought was done and whatever, just coming back and it's just doing it in a different way because no one can ever dispute that Christian is an absolute stud in between those ropes. But you know why he's next level? It's because of shit like this. He is probably going to win from me in the Knocker Awards for 2023 Best Heel. And he's only been doing this gimmick for a few months, but it is overpowered everyone. He is such a fucking asshole. And it's so perfect. Everything he does is perfect. And I can't get enough of it.
Okay. I can't believe we're starting the shine and Collision. That's just ridiculous.
I mean, I said the show was dead, but
nope. I don't know
only
about
Nick
that.
Wayne's dad is, not Christian. He's saving the show.
So I want to start off on SmackDown actually, because there are a couple of things on SmackDown that I really, really enjoyed. The Street Profit stuff with Bobby Lashley. I thought this was such a nibble, but such a great bite. Like the fact that like you think the Profits are going to beat the LWO, which I don't give a shit about the LWO, whatever. But the LWO wins because the hesitation on whether or not Bobby was doing something underhanded, and Dawkins was like, what do I do? And then, Ray obviously overcomes because that's his fucking DNA. And then the fucking stare, and then give me the fucking shirts back. Give me the fucking everything back. I'll find somebody else who can. And I went, oh, like it's such a minute detail that it almost doesn't matter because it's like, okay, you lost the match. But he's talking about the killer instinct. And we've been on this program for so long talking about the Street Profits need to do something new. They need an edge. They need an edge. They need an edge. And they fucking call it out. It's like, great. Now we're in this what if game. And if you can bite, if you can get me to bite specifically about thinking about it, like, well, are they going to be tough? Are they going to stick with Bobby? Are they going to not be? Are they going to continue? Like the fact that I'm questioning it means it's working and means that it's doing a fantastic job. And I just think that I don't care about the bloodline. I like that everybody's, compartmentalized. Judgment Day to me has jumped the shark or, leapt the dolphin. And as we talk about in
I
this
don't know
program,
about that. We'll get there. I don't know about that.
but trust me, if I have to watch this fucking 6-man, 8-man, 5-man, 10-man, whatever, I'm done.
War games.
Yeah, that's where we're headed. For another month and a half. But we're in the infancy of the Bobby faction stuff, and I think that to me is going to be for the next 6 months to 9 months is going to be crucial going forward for WWE.
The reason why I like this was because I didn't fucking see it coming. I thought this was just like we were on our way, the three of these guys dominating them, learning from Lashley. But I was like, oh, this is nice because it's like they just kind of showed up and just beat people. I like that now there's like a little twist in the story. Like they got to earn it because, like you said, it's like nothing's ever instant. So I like that we're gonna get to watch the journey unfold, and instead of it like unfolding off camera and them just being that way. So I was pleasantly surprised like that because I think it gives them like a longer build and it will make us more invested. So I really do too. Because like I said, I did not see this coming at all. Literally not at all. But Nestlemania, you mentioned that was a tag match, but there was a lot of really good wrestling on Raw and SmackDown this week. But we're going to start, since you're talking about tag teams, a tag team match that was an absolute banger from down under. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory go to 2-0 as a tag team, but they took out the Brawling Brutes and Nestlemania. This match was fucking super hot fire. I would go as far to say that this is probably the greatest match of Ridge Holland's career. I thought he really stood out in this match as someone I was just, because I've always like, I mean, Ridge the Fridge, he's fine, but it's always just like it's about Pete Dunne and Sheamus. But I was like, I thought Ridge really shined in this match. I mean, we know Grayson and Theory are fucking two of the best at making people look good, but it just, the chemistry was there and I was pleasantly surprised. And you know what? I love watching bangers on Friday.
It was a lot of fun. I love the entrance, Theory's entrance, and then like him behind him doing his thing. And I'm like, this is like, he's almost like
they just work.
He's almost turned up too high that he's like a caricature of himself already, which is hysterical, but it works. And he's doing such a great job. Like he's not even the star, but he's making himself, he's like maximizing his minutes, as we talk about all the time. He's maximizing his minutes every single time he does something. So I just really love it. I think it's great. And especially where we thought, Theory was dead in the water. That was completely rough. So,
yeah. Well, it's fun. So, I mentioned that there were a lot of good matches this week, but I think they all fall into 4 different categories. That was the tag team match of the week. But I have 3 other categories, Nestlemania. And one is a new segment on the show, which has to become a weekly occurrence because you know what? We're getting every week. And that is JC's meat match of the week. And it goes to the Tsunami Bronson Reed and Otis with Maxine, who looked absolutely great herself. But Nestlemania, watching this match, I was like, oh my God, this is what meat matches are all about. Like we have been absolutely spoiled the last month with these meat matches, like just so much meat and the athleticism and the slapping and flapping and jiggling and juggling. It's good shit, man. And I mean, look at Otis always is kind of underrated. He always, I feel like, surprises people when he actually goes out there and wrestles. We know Bronson can really go. And these two, like, I want to see this again. This is a really good match. So it is by far deserving of hashtag JC's meat match of the week.
Sorry, I was trying to lay out for you, but when you said meat match of the week, I was like, holy, the fact that you had to put your name on top of it, dude. JC's
I mean,
you
have to put your stamp on it, man.
It's just fucking, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, and it's like the man loves his meats, so it's okay.
Did you hear Barrett on commentary, by the way? He played completely into it with all the meat puns.
Oh, it was
all
great.
The meat puns, and I was just like, oh, Wade, you're one of us. I love you as a fellow meat enthusiast. We're all carnivores on Mondays, baby.
I mean, I love a good Polish kielbasa, but like when you say meats, it's just like so fucking funny to me. Like it is beyond funny. But the other thing that came into my mind as I was watching this match, because I was loving it and I was watching the crowd love it, I was like, what are we doing right now? The crowd is loving it. Like we are honks for different reasons. But when the crowd started loving it, I was just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And then as they're watching, like, because I've been watching this for a very long time, and I've been watching it like even with the Hasbro figures and shit. And I'm like, oh my God, if you could combine Otis and, Bronson Reed together, they could be like the new version of the Natural Disasters. I was like, That'd be the fucking meatiest tag team of all time. It'd be great. It'd be fucking
High
great.
flying meat too.
High flying. Yeah. Served on a fucking silver platter. It'd be great. I'm all for it. So kudos to everybody. Like it surprised me how good some of these matches were this week.
Well, I want to get to another one because I have another one on Raw Nestlemania, and it was a championship match for a championship that doesn't belong to Raw, but it don't matter. It was the Raw debut of one Dragon Lee, and him and Dom have faced off before. They had a banner then, but this one was better. And look at this is why Dominic Mysterio has been working at NXT, why they gave him a championship at NXT was to get this opportunity, because there are a lot of Dragon Lee types in NXT that Dom has put on banners with, and it's taught him how to be a better wrestler, a better champion, and everything else. And they're like, you know what? Let's showcase it on Monday. And they did. And these two had a fucking banner. This probably to me was the match of the week. But man, just like the stuff that they were pulling out, the chemistry's already there. And I'm thinking, oh, yes, I'm like, man, this is one of those where it's like, we could be watching these two go at it for the next 20 years, and sign me up. Where's the Winnie the Pooh gif where he puts on the bib? Not just for the meat match, baby. Give me the little guys too.
I could not understand why it was so fucking good. Like when I first saw the fucking drop kick in the corner and he fucking just fucking smushed him, I went, oh shit. And there was the fucking power bomb after that. And you're like, Jesus Christ. Like there were so many spots where you were just like, you were feeling it. You were actually feeling it. You know what I mean? And so that was just like, I don't know. It's so difficult to have a match that everybody wants to watch. And that Dragon Lee match versus Dom to me was like, Dom, if he put on his working boots every week, he could have the best match of the week. He really could. And he's already one of the top heels.
Way, man. And he's still, what is he, like 20,
25 maybe?
Yeah, like
maybe.
What the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like this is just one of those things. This is why, like, when he showed up as that fucking pimply, chubby fucking loser, however many years ago, I was like, this kid's got all the time in the world, and man, has he really maximized everything about himself.
So can I go over off the reservation for a moment for something that I really enjoyed? Yeah. I could not believe how much I personally enjoyed Io Sky versus Asuka on SmackDown.
That was my fourth match. That's the women's match of the week. There you go.
The amount of fire emojis in my notes is unnecessary. But I was sitting there going like, this is what happens. This is what happens when you just let them fucking go out and do their thing. Like, that's all you need to do. And I love the finish. The finish was fantastic. You know what I mean? Like Bailey and everybody getting involved. Like it worked. It fucking worked. And it was just, just watching that moonsault, I could watch that shit all day, but Io's my girl. So anything, and we were talking about this last week, that she just hasn't gotten a signature win. She hasn't had anything under her belt, but like, man, just like that one match, that's all it takes for her. One match is it. And she's back in our good graces. So it's unfucking believable.
Yeah. Io is someone, when you look at her, when you're booking her as a champion, why would you not book her as like that quote unquote fighting champion? She should be the one going out there every week, just having fucking banners, because what makes Io Sky special? Well, they fucking call her the genius of a sky for a reason. She does things in between the ring that we don't see people do. And she does it like flawlessly and smoothly. And this was a match, Io and Asuka, that people have, like, they always are clamoring for. So to see it for a title was pretty cool. And these two women left it all on the line. And yeah, this was the one that completed my quartet of 4 uniquely different, categorically different matches that all absolutely banged this week. This for sure was a top match of the week.
Doug Rains has joined us. I don't know Doug. So Doug, thank you for joining us. We talked about Jade earlier in the program. She definitely could be on a China roll, as you talked about. Title versus title, Ray versus Dom. I don't see that happening unless they're going to do it at WrestleMania. So it's tough because
they're definitely meeting again, but I don't know if either of them will have those particular titles when they do.
I feel like when it happens again, Dom wins this time.
For sure. Because I think the next time it happens, it could be the end of Ray. Because that's kind of how he's stated forever. I want to lose to my son. Like that's how he wants to end his career.
No, yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense. And Doug makes a great point with the idea of like just the title for title is cool.
It would be really cool. I feel like they're purposely keeping them far away from each other as much as they possibly can, because Well, around WrestleMania time, if that's going to be the match again, like you're going to want to feel that heat when those two finally cross paths again, you know?
I feel like it won't be as important as the first time, though. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
it never is, but I just
Yeah.
think the evolution of Dom is what makes it interesting. Because, like we just talked about Nestlemania, you think if he can have that type of match with Dragon Lee, what type of match is he going to have with his dad? Yeah. I mean, they already had a JC match of the year at WrestleMania. So
the whole Dragon Lee jumping Hurricanrana off over the ropes to the outside, I was just like,
he's special, man. He
I
really
can't.
is.
Now, if he can do a promo, we're in. That's it. If he can connect with the crowd, we're in. That's
He'll
it.
connect with the crowd because he has that in-ring charisma where people will like him, and then if they can sell the masks, like he'll be okay. But promos, definitely a work in progress.
Okay. And what else you got in the shine?
They did it in Nestlemania. Tegan Knox found Becky Lynch backstage, baby. We talked about this for a long time last week, and you tried your best to slander, but not only did Tegan Knox show up on our televisions, not only did Tegan Knox squash Natalia, and I believe was a jobber alert, picking up her first singles win since January, and it was her first singles match since March. Hashtag there's your stats. She is now the #1 contender for the NXT title and will be facing the winner of Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton next Monday on Raw. So welcome back, the shiniest wizard, one of my favorite finisher names. She's an absolute stud. And look, this is one of those things. It's like we talk about all the time. WWE has all these people that they employ, they just don't use. But you know what we asked for? Because you're going to complain about it in the fucking heat about how stale you think Judgment Day is. Well, guess what? This is why you do things like this with Tegan Knox, because it's fresh. It's different. It's a fresh face. It's something we haven't seen before. It's a matchup we haven't seen either before or in a long time. It's something different for us to be interested in, something to catch their attention and be like, oh, that's something new. And you know what? Tegan, she's good. When she gets her chance, she's going to be good. She's going to grab that brass ring, baby, because she's a stud. And, you know, Nestle's going to try to, like, he's going to end up putting his reverse curse on her, and she's probably going to be the next Liv Morgan. We're all going to fall in love with her fucking story, and she's going to fucking become a women's champion within a year and a half.
Special shout out to Huge Wang. He has returned. Huge. You missed a great part of JC's meat match of the week. So
Rikishi
you should go back.
has been a lot of meat matches in his time.
Yes. So I just wanted to make sure that our boy Huge Wang got a shout out. So listen, the Tegan Knox thing, when I saw it, I got a big smile on my face because I was like, oh, where's the crow? Am I gonna eat it? You know, like that's how's that taste, right? Yum yums. But when I thought about it, I was like, okay, cool. The only problem I had was the explanation of why she let her cut the line. Like I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like she's like, she was a veteran. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what are you doing? Now she got her shit back. And then
I was gonna say they turned it. That's what I liked about it.
She got her shit back, but it was almost like Becky had to fucking kick her in the nuts to do it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think
that adds to the story. You know what I mean? Because when you see someone like we talk about all the time in wrestling, people not taking opportunities. Well, they're using that as a story, being like, Tegan, you do the right things, you say the right things, you're good, people like you, but sometimes you just gotta stand up for yourself. And so I actually kind of like it. And that's why it's like, this is how you make like little underdogs. If it takes, it'll be great. It might not take, but it's one of those things like this is how you do it. You give it an opportunity. So there's an opportunity now here for a fresh underdog in a division that is so thin and is missing some of their top stars with injury. It's like, now's the time to do it, man.
I just wanted to point out that Doug Reigns said something, and you're going to think it's a burner account, but I did not.
God. This is you. Doug, are you Nestle? Oh my God.
I don't know who Doug Reigns is, but I hope to Christ that they just keep saying things that make sense. So I love Doug already. I don't care. It's not
the audio listeners. He's asking why they don't do hair versus hair matches anymore, which is Nestle's literal obsession. He's obsessed with hair versus hair matches. So you are playing directly into Nestlemania.
This has got to be somebody that knows me just to fuck with me. It has to be. If it's not, this is serendipitous, and I love it. I think it's wonderful either way. Please come back every week, Doug. Makes me feel a lot better about myself. So Tegan Knox wins, so here's my other logic. Not a Tegan Knox problem, but it was like Natty jumps the line, has a 3-segment match with Becky Lynch, but then loses in a jobber alert to somebody who's in catering. And it's like, where are we in the fucking
What did I tell you though last week, Nestlemania? Tegan Knox is just Becky Lynch without getting punched in the face by Nia Jax, baby. Nah. I know it's one of those things. It's like it's typical WWE booking, and it's the fact that like, I mean, look at Io and Asuka got a ton of time on SmackDown, but for some reason on Raw, the 3-hour show, like the women rarely get like long matches. They always get the short matches, and it's one of those things. Like I think it's one of those things. Like I feel like if they gave Tegan and Natalya like 10 minutes to wrestle, you probably could get Tegan more over because she could do some like of her like exciting like fan favorite spots. But it's like the job alert. Yeah, you get her the quick win and she looks dominant. But no, I tend to agree with you. I wouldn't mind a stretched out match because obviously we know Natty can work. Natty's going to make her look great too. So, but again, we see this a lot on Mondays.
Yeah, no, it's hard for me because it doesn't help. So if I'm going to be a real human being for a moment and not go against Tegan Nox, it doesn't do Tegan Nox as much justice by having the definitive win in 3 minutes or less.
I agree.
At least, you know what I mean?
Showcase your skills, man.
Right. And I think that's the issue I have is that I don't want to wait for Becky Lynch versus Tegan Nox to become a Tegan Nox person. You know what I mean? Like I want to be in on cheering for her while she's going for the opportunity. But I feel like what they're just going to do is be like, this is just her first opportunity at the thing. She's going to lose it valiantly. And then she's going to have to go back to the drawing board. And then we see the climb, but I just feel like I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like I would rather just see the progression differently. That's just me.
I don't know. I agree, but unfortunately, like literally how you spelled it out, that's WWE how they book it. That's
I know.
What they do.
I know.
They've always
it's tiresome, is what it is. It absolutely is tiresome. So whatever. What else you got? Because since you're the positive,
that's it.
boy.
That's all my Shine, baby. That was a lot of good stuff. I will say this. Are you done with Shine? Because I do have a transition piece.
I would just like to squeak in here, just 1 second.
Yes, squeak it in.
Elton Strong package. That shit made me giggle like a little girl. I was so happy. You have no idea. There is nothing that team cannot do. They literally can do anything. They should have been tag team champions yesterday, 5 years from now, 5 years ago. They should be tag team champions all the fucking time. I absolutely adore these gentlemen.
Oh, you're cursing them hard. No wonder he got injured. You cursed them.
No, Ridge cursed him.
No, leave Ridge the fridge alone. He had a banger this week.
Yeah, that negates all of his bad juju. Okay.
Calm down.
Are you going for your transitional nonsense?
Well, here's my transition. Because look at Nestlemania. They do this shit with him every fucking week. The tease. They gave me the little taste. They're like Cody going, "We're not in the third inning anymore." I'm like, I'm like a dog. I'm fucking patting. I'm patting to be like, God, he's got to fucking win this thing before Dwayne the Cuck Johnson comes back. Oh my God, come on. I'm like a dog. And then all of a sudden it's just like that. We're back to your Judgment Day.
Dwayne the Cuck Johnson. The cuck says. The cuck says.
Can you smell what the cuck is cooking?
Which is hilarious in itself because the cuck wouldn't say anything, which is hysterical. The cuck says nothing. The cuck
does leave his back door open for strudel.
Oh my God. So Doug says you look like Bubba Ray Dudley, which is funny to me. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't know why.
Bubba Ray, where?
Yeah, it's right here. And I mean it's in a good way. You look like Bubba Ray Dudley. And then he says, I look like Mean Gene Okerlund. So, I mean, that's fair.
Especially looking like Spike Dudley.
Huge Wang with the cuck gate. We love that. Thank you. The cuck says. Oh, we're having too much fun tonight. This chat's great. When I heard the third inning thing, I went like, "What are we in the fourth inning then?" Because it's not fucking over. Like
fucking baseball, it could be 20 runs. You could still be in the same inning. We don't know.
Oh man, baseball is rough. So when they do a baseball reference, they're just like, I do like the little quib though because they
always a little taste with Cody, and then they go back.
See that the other thing that makes me laugh like really hard about this entire thing is like all that song and dance from The Rock. We're back to fucking Cody again. It's like, can we just keep the ship going? You know, like The Rock is like that shiny new thing, like the new girl in school or like the new fucking car, the new taste of something. Like you're like, oh my God, it's so great. And then like you realize that's not what you want. It's like what you've wanted the entire time is Cody Rhodes to fucking beat this thing and get it over with. So we'll see what happens here. The other thing I wanted to bring up very quickly, excuse me, was Cody still isn't part of anything. This is where get him off my TV, get him off my TV, get him off my TV. We're in this fucking nonsense with the fucking bloodline. I was hoping and praying that we were going to get Omos because we saw it teased on a live event this weekend, and I went, "This is the JCest, juiciest thing."
Cody versus Omos.
Yes,
Homo sapiens rise.
like the amount of like this could be Cody Rhodes's Anthony Ogogo, but done correctly.
Oh yeah,
This
Omos
is
is
what
way better than Anthony Ogogo. It's not even close.
well, yeah, I mean, not even fucking close. But it was just like when I saw that, I went, JC would fucking just have his pants off for this entire fucking thing. So anyway, I'm sick of the bloodline stuff. I'm sick of the Judgment Day shit now. The fucking Jey Uso stuff is still working, thank God. But like Sammy and KO, I'm fatigued with them. Cody Rhodes doesn't have any plan here. If we have to go from right now to November something 23rd, so like literally 2 months more of this stuff with the 6-mans and the tags and
We've been
the
doing it since WrestleMania. What's another month
It's-
and a half?
2 months.
2 months, whatever it is. We've literally been in this vortex since WrestleMania with the Judgment Day and Sammy and KO. Cody's come in and out here and there when he's done. He was either with Brock or the Judgment Day. But I will say this, like they're still continuing to move the Priest JD McDonough story over. We have Priest getting mad at him in the back, but then later in the night, the only reason the Judgment Day are still the tag champs is because of JD McDonough. So we're still getting that inkling. They're obviously still dragging it out, but we're finally getting like that actual dissension and the turn we've been waiting for.
So here's my logic with this entire thing. And you've said this before, so I would take the JC approach with this entire thing with the Judgment Day. All you have to do is hit pause on some of these people who are interacting with each other, let them breathe, and then let them come back together for War Games instead of fucking just beating us over the head like fucking cavemen with a fucking club every single goddamn time we do this. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, with the exception of Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins on Raw, this stuff is the least enjoyable that I watch, in my opinion.
Well, it's the thing. It's definitely the most overexposed, but it's one of those things. Like I still enjoyed the main event. I still enjoy their backstage segments. I still enjoyed the fucking Dom getting booed and not being able to talk. Like I'm still enjoying it. So I definitely, are you kidding me? When you have fucking Nia Jax versus Zoe Stark on the show, you're telling me that this, like, get the fuck out of my face. Like there's way worse stuff than this stuff.
I will say the crowd was super hot in Ontario on Monday. So, I mean, thank God for them. They made everything seem way bigger than it needed to be and way more, just extravagant. And like, as a fan, like I watched the crowd. It's the Eric Bischoff method of don't watch the match, watch the crowd. If the crowd's up on their feet, you know it's a fucking good match. If they're fucking going to the fucking rafters to go get fucking beer, then you can change the channel. So I really thought that Raw brought it in a lot of different cases. And again, I didn't love the main event. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just I was fatigued by the idea of it. Way to go, professional. And so that for me is rough. But again,
you're rough.
The crowd
complaining.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. You want to move on to something else?
At, as Doc would say.
Yeah. Well, he's
Doc's up in Canada. Hey, it's probably past his bedtime.
He already said hello and then he left. He made some fucking quib about me and my fucking hair. I'm sure, even though his fucking hair is so fucking far back. The History Channel fucking had a fucking documentary on it. It's so fucking old.
Oh my goodness.
So listen, I'm just saying. I don't like him very much. Anyway, moving on. Let's see what else we didn't like. Do you like this Cena AJ nonsense?
Well, I mean, we talk about, and obviously it's for like things they couldn't really control, but I absolutely hated the fact that no one came out and seen in the main event. And yes, I know LA Knight had COVID, and even if he was supposed to be in that spot, it would have been it. But it's just like, it felt so flat for me because it's like one of those things like, yes, that's something that happened, but I don't know that. And yes, even though it's out of their control, that doesn't mean it's not bad. That felt so hollow for me that not one person would come out and save John Cena, who people absolutely beloved, from the fucking bloodline who people absolutely fucking hate. And it's just like, you're telling me all the people that ran out and saved when Roman Reigns was out there, you're more scared now and it's fucking only Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa? They're at half strength right now. Are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm so out on this. And now we have a handicap match, which is just going to set up a big pop for LA Knight. But no, this stuff all fell super flat for me this week. And again, some of us are out of control, but at the end of the day, you still booked the shit and still went on forward with it. So you could have made a little bit better lemonade, in my opinion.
So if somebody else came out and helped him and it wasn't LA Knight, then...
Well, I just think you have to do the segment differently if you don't have LA Knight, because the whole point of that was to have LA Knight come out and save him. So instead, it's like, again, like, oh, we're trying to make the bloodline look Thrawn. Well, no, I saw right through that bullshit, man. You're transparent. Get out of my face. I can see you.
Okay, that's fine. Just wanted to throw
That's
that
how
out
I
there.
feel.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I don't think there's anything else that we can talk about that's on SmackDown. Let's move over to Raw very quickly. We talked about some good stuff. Let's talk about some bad stuff. I I don't think Vinci can have a bad match. I don't think Kaiser can have a bad match. And Ciampa had a great match too. But I just don't give a flying fuck about a Ciampa and Gunther feud, especially since we had these fucking barn burners with Gable. I just feel like, to me, Tommaso Ciampa is definitely taking the foot off the gas pedal in terms of being excited about what Gunther's doing next.
But I think it goes back to what we just talked about, whereas this is you separating Gunther and Gable for a little while.
Sure.
You need some people in between. The more reason why, because that's like whatever. It's not my favorite thing in the world because I'm not. I mean, Champ is fine, but I don't really love Champ as a babyface, so that doesn't do much for me. But the more the heaty thing for me is why the fuck are we continuing to tease breaking up Imperium? Like, what are we doing? Why? I don't understand it. Like, I don't like why. Why? We literally, like, we saw when you ripped them apart in NXT, and then literally Triple H takes over. He's like, no, I'm writing this wrong. But now we're doing it again. It boggles my mind.
Do they think that Gunther can stand on his own, maybe?
Yeah, but I'm sure he definitely can, but he's better with Imperium.
Oh, I agree with you.
They're better with followers, especially when they're that good and they fucking work and the presentation's good. And by the way, Ludwig and Vinci are a fucking amazing tag team. So breaking up that, I don't like that either.
I don't know. I just think that Imperium's kind of rough sometimes to watch.
You're
with
rough.
With the Vinci stuff. It's like, come on. I love Ludwig. I will always be a Ludwig guy, but
Right.
like I told you, like they need more members, not getting rid of people. I agree.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Moving on, let's see. We did not talk. Well, you mentioned it very quickly. Your girl Zoe Stark got beaten up.
Not my
quickly
girl. Take it back right now. We're not moving on till you take that back. Whose girl is she?
Guthrie's.
Thank you. Move on.
Takesies backsies. Sorry.
She lost to your girl, Nia Jax.
She did lose to my girl. That's right. Because she's not like most girls. And she just squashed the fuck out of her. Because they were talking about squashing. And I'm like, holy shit, she's going to squash her. And she fucking did. I was just like, this is wonderful.
Nia, I want more of this. In their promo, she teased the shit out of facing Jade Cargill. And I'm all about that because I want to see Jade pin that Nia.
I don't even know if she'll get up for Jaded. Like, not that Jade won't be able to do it.
It'd probably have to be an inverted Jaded.
I mean, it ain't gonna be pretty.
No, Jade's pretty strong.
I know, but
she got muscles coming out of her muscles, man.
I know. I mean,
I mean, 2-0. Let's go.
Every single time, we should just make this podcast the fucking Dano.
You want to do a watch along? Do a watch along.
I don't have you.
Karakate just won.
No, not. You're just making it worse.
No, that's her name, Ernesta Karakate.
You're terrible with names. That's fine.
That's literally her name.
Anyway, moving on. Seth Rollins and Shinsuke, last man standing. This smells like it could be a cash-in coming up. No, you don't care?
I only care. I will not care about this until Damian Priest is champion or Seth and Shinsuke stop fighting.
It's a rough one. It's definitely a very, very rough one. And of course, moving on to, I'm just trying to make sure we hit all of our things here. I think that's pretty much it. Unless you have anything else. We didn't talk about something that I wanted to, well, you know what? We'll talk about that later. You want to get hopeful?
Glorious. You're my only hope.
Would you like me to go first?
I guess.
You don't have one, do you?
Nope.
That's what I figured.
I forgot what it was.
To answer Doug's question real quickly, do you ever see the guns coming from AEW to WWE? It's very possible.
I can see it. They're young enough and they got the WWE style. Absolutely.
So I want to make sure we answer questions when we can. I can see Billy Gunn, making amends there, especially because everybody loves Billy. But his kids are super talented too. At least the Colton is okay, but Austin to me is the other one. Like Austin just screams fucking charismatic to me, so I really enjoy that. My hope this week, if I could be the booker of WWE Raw's women's division for the tag titles, the Voodoo Bitches have cursed the tag titles, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. I was so excited, JC, when I saw this. I thought, finally, they're fucking making sense of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and I just went, this is so fucking wonderful. However, when I saw it, I thought, what if not only did they curse the titles, they cursed Chelsea Green. Now, not only would this be hilarious that the Voodoo Girls win the championship, right? And we finally get a real tag team and the whole deal, and let them be on fucking, Raw and SmackDown and do shit. But one of the reasons I fell in love with Chelsea Green as a wrestler and as an act was when she was in Impact as the hot mess, where she was going crazy and lost her shit. I want them, the voodoo bitches, to create some type of hex on her where she starts to not sleep. She's waking up in the middle of the night and she's doing all sorts of nonsense and freaking out. And then she just turns into the hot mess, and she's got her lipstick smeared, her mascara everywhere, and she looks like, hell, and just looks like a zombie. I would love that. I think it would be fucking awesome. And I think that would make Chelsea even more just diverse in terms of the way that she can go about. Like, this Karen character is great. It's going to have, an expiration date, and the hot mess in WWE is such a WWE thing that I think this is a natural transition to get Chelsea over. And I would be super happy to see this happen because she's super talented, deserves to be taken seriously at some point. I think the hot mess is a great transition to have an evolution in her character. And that's my hope. Hashtag Nestle knows. Hashtag Nestle's hopes come true.
Cut the hashtag.
Why?
Your hashtags are terrible. They're horrible. They're like the bad versions of mine. No one wants to hear that shit. I have a hope, Nestlemania. You ready?
Yeah, because you thought about it while I was talking.
This wasn't the one I originally had because I realized that my hope and comeback were too similar. So I'm going to a different hope. On SmackDown this week, there was a United States title match between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. What did you say earlier in the show? And what have we been saying for weeks? The LWO. Boring. But you know what would make them cool? Turn those motherfuckers heel and have them turn on Rey Mysterio and have, I want Santos Escobar to beat the fuck out of Rey Mysterio. Maybe he doesn't have to win the title right now. Not right away. Maybe he wins it in the next match, but I just want the turn. We're ready for it. We've been waiting for it. Santos, we know he's a good wrestler. As a babyface, he doesn't do much for me, but in NXT, this guy, he's a very good heel promo. He's obviously an incredible wrestler. And you know what? Factions, heels, makes sense. And these guys they've been nothing, but I want them all. I even want Zelina to turn on Rey and her to beat up Rey. And I want them to beat the fuck out of Rey Mysterio, kick him out of the LWO. They go heel. Santos Escobar back to being the kingpin that he is. Hashtag JC knows. Hashtag JC's hopes come true. Hashtag Smackadowna.
We have the same hashtags. Minus the Smackadowna.
Because one has JC in it. The other has Nestlemania.
Not so good on the improv, are we?
It's not so good. Not so good when it's about me.
Anyway, don't call it a comeback. He's literally been here for years. Are you sitting down? Are you excited for this one? Danny, I hope you're listening. This is exactly for you. I am giving my comeback, folks, to Drew McIntyre. That's right. Drew McIntyre gets Nestlemania's comeback this week, because I thought this not only was the Kofi fucking setup great, but Mac versus Kofi was one of the best fucking matches, probably number 5, but it was still one of the best matches of the week. I love the badassery of just watching McIntyre, and I'm intrigued by him for the very first time in a very long time. And I thought to myself, clearly I'm losing this bet one way or another, so I might as well enjoy it. So all I could think about was he did it again. He just kind of walked away, shrugged it off, and kept going as fucking Ivar ate, in Kofi for lunch. What's going on over there?
Nothing.
You just dropped something, didn't you?
Maybe.
Yeah. Did you drop that dun-dun-na? Hey. No, never mind. That's a Tony joke. Never mind. What?
Shut up, Nestle. You buried the best part of this segment.
I know.
First of all, it's the name of the podcast, Big D and Massive Miz. But it's just like McIntyre is just one of those things that's like, I know it's in there with him. I know he can be funny, but also be an asshole at the same time. And like, that's why I can't wait for the heel turn. But him just like the perfect time of being like, shut up, Miz, but being completely serious. Like, I'm focused on you, New Day. Shut up, Miz. It just, the timing was perfect. Like you said, the match was good. I'm really digging his feud with the New Day. If they found like, it's McIntyre's hitting all cylinders right now. And so all I have to say for your comeback is welcome to the party, pal.
Is that a reference from Die Hard?
Yeah, what else would it be a reference to?
You don't seem like a Die Hard guy. That's
well, it's not Christmas time, so why would I be referencing Christmas movies?
I'm just wondering because I think Die Hard's wonderful all year round, especially on Christmas. But that's just me.
But it's also a Christmas movie. Fact, not opinion.
Poor Bruce Willis. What a terrible story that ended up being. Anyway, your comeback. Go ahead, kiddo.
Well, my comeback Nestlemania is pretty simple. The house always wins, baby. Julia Hart, did you know this? Is undefeated in 2023. She's obviously very, very young. She's one of AEW's younger wrestlers. She had a little fucking shitty cheerleader gimmick where she followed around Griff Garrison and Pillman, who's now in WWE. Didn't really have a wrestle much, frankly, because she wasn't very good, but she started to really wrestle this year, and I've seen improvements. She's obviously not the greatest thing ever yet, but she's getting better. But the reason for me why I'm getting my comeback, not because she won on back-to-back nights, beating Sky Blue on Rampage and beating Kiera Hogan on Collision, which is impressive. And now she's the number one contender for Statlander at Wrestle Dream. But her character work in House of Black has been so good. And to me, the most interesting part of House of Black is her. Because even when the other three were Trios champions, she was still the key. Her entrance is cool. She's just fucking singing it, coming out with it's all with the dark. But you know why? I mean, this is a telltale of why. Hashtag it's a JC gimmick. She uses black mist. Like, you know, I love when people mist in other people's faces. Like, right in the face. Nice little, but it fits. House of Black, black mist. But I've loved her character work. I loved her development. She literally couldn't be more opposite than what her first iteration character was, as just a fucking generic little shitty cheerleader for a shitty tag team that always lost. And she's taken this and run with this. I think she's got creativity, and her in-ring work every time I see her is improving. Like I said, it's not there yet, but it's getting better and better. I thought her and Sky Blue match surprised me. I did not expect that to be good. And then, I mean, I know on period T, my girl Kiera Hogan always brings it, so I enjoyed that as well. But Julia Hart's getting my comeback because, look, I like to criticize AEW all the time, but they do have a lot of young talent there. Unfortunately, they're all going to really flourish when they get to WWE. But I mean, this is another one of their, it's one of those things. There's hope for the future of the AEW women's division because they got a lot of young stallions in that division. So
when you said had a shitty cheerleader gimmick and then turned to the dark side, I was like,
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, exactly.
Parallel.
Yeah, there's a parallel there. And I was just like, that'd be interesting to see in the WWE what would happen there. But yeah, look, so Julia Hart can do whatever she can to improve, at least for the time she's in, AEW. But there's a lot of young talent in there that really deserves TV time. We'll see what happens. Doug asked us really quickly before we get to the big old finish, what did you think of the MJF Bret Hart spot with the kid? I didn't think the I'm adopted part was as funny as it should have been. Like, I thought there could have been a better line, but apparently he has to be, their douchebag or their scumbag. So it was great. I'm a Bret Hart guy, so I love the joke of it. Grand Slam overall to me was kind of a weird night.
I thought this was the best Dynamite I've watched in months, though.
Wow, really? Okay.
I really enjoyed it. And I mean, I love the pomp and circumstance.
Even the Mox things.
This felt like a big show.
Okay.
This felt like a big show. Even if obviously it's AEW, it's never perfect, but like overall, the Mox Phoenix was the low point for me. Obviously, you don't want to see someone get injured, and I wasn't excited for that match anyways. But I thought that they put in a lot of effort to it. I thought the main event, look at the Samoa Joe match. I'm never gonna get super excited for, but I get this little entrance was part of it. I think we agree that Sammy and Jericho way over exceeded expectations, and you get the little turn there that you correctly called. Good job. I'll give you credit for that, but that's it. I'm not going to give you a retort. You can just pat yourself on the back. But I'm very high on Sammy, so it was nice to see him kind of get that showcase. But yeah, I thought it was the most I've enjoyed Dynamite in months. Honestly, really, truthfully.
There were certain parts that I really did enjoy it, like you talked about. I thought Sammy and Chris were great. There were other things in that were just kind of kicking everything off, but yeah, I got soured after the Moxley thing, and I went off on a tangent after that. Like, when I see that shit happen, it drives me insane. It just takes the room, takes the air out of the room for me. I can't deal with it. So that's just where I am. But should we get to the big old finish?
Big old finish. We'll wrap up WWE before we get to AEW and NXT. On SmackDown, Rey and Santos for the U.S. title. Grayson Waller effect with Bobby Lashley, and we have Charlotte versus Bayley.
I'm not a big fan of Charlotte versus Bayley.
Why?
It is what it is. It just I feel
we haven't seen it in a long time. I don't mind it. Bayley deserves to be in the ring.
She's in the ring. She's in the ring plenty.
She barely wrestles. You kidding me? No. This is good.
I'm just saying.
A hater.
I'm not a hater. I think
she's
down
to the queen, bitch. It's gonna be a banner. We'll be talking about it next week in the top 4 match.
Every time I hear that, it sounds like someone just banging a bunch of pans together. It's like, bow down. It's like somebody found out how to use GarageBand with these fucking theme songs sometimes. It boggles my mind. You had fucking awesome CFO. Just fucking pay him the money. Those are fucking iconic stuff. Iconic. Sorry, couldn't help myself.
Did you see the mixed tag match, by the way?
No.
It's Spears and Cassie Lee versus Ryder and Steph DeLander.
Oh,
Mixed tag
really?
match. Yeah, I
That's
think it's her
funny.
return match after her pregnancy.
Good for them. I might have to
Yeah,
watch that match. That sounds
you
fun.
should. It's me versus TJ. Sean Spears versus Zack Ryder.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be a really good time. Sorry, go ahead. Anything else you want to talk about? Because I don't give a shit.
Monday Night Raw, we have the winner of Becky and Tiffy Time taking on Tegan Knox for the NXT
See, I thought they
Championship.
were going to say a future tag that they actually came out
No,
and said
it's on Monday. The graphic literally is the two of them faces. The winner faces Tegan Knox.
I mean,
aka
clearly Becky, yeah. So
yeah. Becky Big Belt over there. And then we have a contract signing for Gunther and Ciampa.
What a waste of my time.
Yeah, I thought it was the match, and I literally wrote Gunther versus Ciampa. Then I looked and it said contract sign. I was like, well, okay, that'll be in the heat next week. We head over to AEW on Dynamite. I feel like there's got to be more booked than this, but the only thing I've written down is Willow versus Julia Hart. Obviously, Julia took her out. That's how it ended up being Kiera Hogan on whatever. So it seems like another warm up for Julia before Wrestle Dream. Rampage, I got nothing, but Collision, we have 2 matches booked. We have Andrade versus Juice Robinson, Banner. Then we have the Kingdom versus the Best Friends in the battle for Nestle's heart.
Oh my God. If the Best Friends never wrestled again, I'd be happy. I
really
can't
dislike them.
I mean, I like Mike Bennett in this matchup. That's the only one I would cheer for. Other than that, move on. I don't give a shit about the other 3. Let's just move on.
Should we go to Wrestle Dream?
Yes. Hold on. Did he put the Young Bucks, the Guns, and Orange Cassidy, all that stuff?
I don't know. You tell me, buddy. I just read the matches. You put them in the sheet. Come on,
Let
bro.
me make sure he put them all in there.
Hashtag know your role.
He did.
Yeah,
know your
TJ's a
role.
stud. Shout out TJ.
The cuck says.
tpublic.com/jobberknocker. Buy the merch. A lot of good shit. We got a new one coming, by the way, soon. So
Full Circuit and the cuck says might be coming too. Who knows?
I don't think we can sell a shirt. Well, actually, we sold the shirt with Tribal Cuck.
Yeah, Tribal Cuck. So.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm all like powerful, whatever. Wrestle Dream. 9 matches booked so far. There'll probably be 20 by the time we get to Sunday. But we can only pick the 9 that are booked. We have a 4-way tag team match for a future AEW World Tag Team Championship match. We have the Young Bucks, also could be Cucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson taking on the Guns, Austin and Colton, Billy's sons, versus the Lucha Brothers, Rey Fenix, who is now the international champion, and Penta El Zero Miedo, versus the hodgepodge tag team of Orange Cassidy and Hook, Nestlemania. Who you got?
I mean, so here's Detective Nestle detecting something here. Young Bucks just won 6-man tag. They're out. Lucha Bros, fuckface, accidentally got the fucking championship. They're out. I kind of like the idea of Orange Cassidy and Hook. I think I'm going to pick Orange Cassidy and Hook.
AEW has so many tag teams, but yeah, let's just hodgepodge. No, give me the Guns, baby. We haven't seen them take on FTR in a while. Give me that because the Guns are studs, and then you get a little more bang bang gang.
I literally the just watching Juice and the fucking Guns like hip gyrating every time on Andrade. I was just like, I could watch this forever. And the fact that they don't do it every match is alarming. They should do it every match. It's fucking like. Get rid of the Bullet Club Gold shit we've talked about. Just call them the Bang Bang Gang. It'll fucking work. The cardboard shit work. All of it's working. You just need to get Jay White a real championship. You need to get Juice a fucking secondary title and the Guns the fucking Ring of Honor tag belts for now, and they'd be off to the fucking races. It would be fucking great. Great.
Next up, singles match for the AEW TBS Championship. Will the house always win here? We have Julia Hart and Brody Kane challenging the champion, Chris Statlander. Look at Stat's been putting on banners. Julia's been heavily involved. I'm actually excited for this. I'm glad they're getting the opportunity, but I feel like Stat's going to win this.
Statlander hasn't had much of a chance since she's won this thing, so I think Statlander across the board here.
Next up, we have a singles match for the Ring of Honor World Championship and the Strong Openweight Championship. Eddie Kingston defends against Shibata. Give me Kingston.
Eddie Kingston just won this goddamn thing. I would be fucking shocked if he lost it right away. So Kingston across the board for me as well. Next
up, we have hashtag the JC match of the night. Well, one of 2 JC matches of the night. 2 out of 3 falls match for the AEW TNT Championship. Christian Cage defends against Darby Allin. This has to be a Christian retain. I will be so mad if Darby fucking wins. But you know what, Nestlemania? And I see Doug put this in the chat. I was actually going to bring this up. I really want to see Nick Wayne accept Christian as his new dad and join him. I want it to be Christian Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. And I would love if on pay-per-view, Nick Wayne cost Darby Allin and officially joined his father, Christian Cage.
So that's wonderful. I don't think AEW thinks that far in advance. I don't. Maybe Christian will make him think that way, but they're in Seattle. I think this is the main event of Wrestle Dream. If it's not,
they're in Seattle. Bryan Danielson's the main event.
Okay, that's true. Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. Okay, that's fair. So maybe because it's not the main event, I think you're right. Christian just won this goddamn thing. So I would think that we're not done yet. So
next up, we have a Nestle special 6-man tag team match. Chris Jericho and the Golden Elite of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi take on the Dallas Cowboys. Go Cowboys. They take on the Don Callis family of Konosuke Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay with Don Callis. I feel like the Don Callis family has to win this because they just kind of got together, and Will Ospreay should never lose. So give me the Don Callis family.
You're going to go with the Callis family. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention to the Jericho and Omega promo, so I don't know what they said there.
Me either. I zone out when Kenny Omega talks. I find him boring. I want to see him wrestle in singles matches, not this.
I feel like because Kenny Omega lost the last two, he has to win this one, right? He has to. No? Really?
No, you got Takeshita, Guevara, and Ospreay need it more, in my opinion.
You're making a good point.
That's all I do.
All right, I'll pick the Callis family. All right, that's fine. There's something about this that screams that fucking Jericho can't lose ever on pay-per-view, but that's just me.
Speaking of screaming can't lose, tag team match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Better Than You, baby. Adam Cole and MJF defend against the Righteous. And that's right. If you don't know who the Righteous are, I don't blame you. Vincent and Dutch, they're Ring of Honor tag team. They won a match on Rampage. They seem like they have some nice, interesting gimmicks. So I'm sure this match will have some good ha-ha. But I think Better Than You, baby, is better than them, baby.
Just for a quick second, as much as I love Adam Cole, what a fucking bonehead decision to jump off the ramp, right? Like,
he's fine.
No, I know, but I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, you just came back. Who the fuck is Adam?
It's not
you don't jump off a ramp. That's what you don't do. You don't
biometrics, bro. Come on, he's cross training.
Yeah, right. Except he fucking planted his leg and almost snapped it because
that's the danger of plyometrics. That's why you got to do more plyometrics so that doesn't happen.
Anyway, moving on. Can we get over this?
Did you pick Better Than You, baby, or not?
Yes, Better Than You, baby, all the time.
You never made a pick. You just complained. Next up, tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. This is the hashtag second JC match of the night. FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood defend against Aussie. Oi. Open of Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. This match is going to be a banner like their first one. I can't wait. The two best tag teams of 2023, in my opinion, but give me FTR to retain.
I'm starting to think that FTR is running out of real contenders.
I mean, they are. That's why they're about to face the Guns of the Young Bucks again, probably, or Orange Cassidy and Hook.
It's bizarre to me that they touted that they wanted to have the best tag team division in wrestling, and now I'm looking at it and it's like, well, we've got the fucking gods of tag team wrestling, but they have nobody to fucking face. Even though you complain that none of these tag teams get any time,
that's why they're doing their open challenges. You see Dax's comment because people are complaining, why are you fighting nobody? He's like, we're trying to fight the future generation, so there's people that can carry this mantle when we're gone. Boom, roasted.
Like coffee. Joe Coffey.
He's got a big match tonight.
He's got a big Joffy coffee. All right, and moving on. We got two more left.
Did you pick FTR?
Yes, it's always FTR time.
Next up, singles match. Adam Hangman Page, baby, taking on Swerve Strickland. They've kind of gone on pretty hot with this feud. I mean, I love Swerve. I feel like this is only the first of a couple matches between these guys. So give me the heel. Give me Swerve in the Swerve pick.
I'm going to pick Swerve because he's going to beat the bag of milk. That's it.
Okay. Then we have the main event, a singles match, a dream match for many. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, it's in Seattle. Tony Khan don't book people to lose where they're from. So give me Bryan Danielson. Are you excited for this, Nestlemania? Oh boy, he's about to no-sell it. Get your popcorn.
I don't think Zack Sabre Jr. is as good as everybody says he is.
Ooh.
I don't.
I love it.
Here's the thing. I like when he complains on Twitter. I like his promos where he calls everybody a tosser. I think that's hilarious.
Tossa?
Yeah, like you little swine, like all that shit's funny to me. But then I watch him and I'm like, there's something about someone who's like jerking themselves off while they're technically wrestling, and that's what he does. I don't like, at least Brian wrestles technically with a viciousness to himself that I'm like, okay, I believe it. I just think Zack Sabre Jr. sometimes is just a little too pretty for my taste, and I think he's overrated. So
Wow.
there you go.
That is a hot take. Yeah, look, it is what it is, but I'm assuming you're picking Danielson too.
I will always pick the yes man. Yes.
All right, that's the dream of wrestling. I believe it's on Sunday. It's on Sunday going up against football.
It's a bad decision. It's going to be a
Yep.
wrestle dream for nobody.
Saturday night, though. Saturday night's all right for NXT. No mercy. As of this moment, there are only
Holy
4
shit!
matches
He just added a bunch.
Okay.
So there you go.
I refreshed the Wikipedia page.
Or I can
I got 5 now. Okay.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, here's the problem. We are recording at the same time as NXT, and we are waiting on 2 number. Oh no, we know. And spoiler alert for if you haven't watched NXT yet, cover your ears. British Rounds rules match for the NXT Heritage Cup. Noam Dar with Oral Mensa, Lash Legend, and Jakar Jackson. By the way, the metaphor. If you aren't paying attention to their entrance and the bullshit they do up in the crowd every week, they're good. Great character work. But he's defending against Butch, who has appeared to have defeated Joe Coffey to challenge for this Heritage Cup thingamajigger. I mean, look, this thing is Noam Dar's thing. And why would Butch win it when he's a main roster guy? So give me Noam Dar.
I think Noam Dar is doing a lot of great work. So like I said, I think Butch needs to turn back into Pete Dunne, but that's just me. But it is what it is. Noam Dar has been really, really good. I refuse to acknowledge anybody else in that group, but there you go.
The metaphor is hilarious. Jakar Jackson's a stud, and Oral Medicine has graduated to his real name because he impressed me. Next up, we have a singles match. Hashtag potential meat match of the week. Braun Breaker taking on Baron Corbin in a JC special. Nestlemania. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this match because these two fucking guys, like this is the type of shit that Corbin gets off on. And Braun Breaker, like this is the type of thing to really showcase him because Corbin makes people look good. It's a stud. I think their styles are going to be perfect. I feel like Braun's got to win it, but man, I'm excited for this match.
I mean, Braun's definitely winning this matchup, I would imagine. But man, so we talk about the equation of great matches that Baron Corbin has with little guys, but we don't necessarily talk about all the time when he beats up like on big dudes, and he's a fast big dude. Both of them are, but Corbin has an amazing speed to him. And when he gets hit with that spear, it's going to fucking look like a shotgun. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for goes for the end of days, flips over, runs, spear, end of the match. That's what you have to do it that way. Has to fucking happen. Can't wait. Hashtag can't wait.
For the meat. Next up, we have, so this is one of the ones where we're kind of flying blind. Singles match for the NXT North American Championship. This was supposed to be Dirty Dom Mysterio defending against Ali, but he was let go. We didn't mention off the top, but he was one of the ones that got let go, which was surprising because he's actually in a storyline. But apparently, I'm assuming there's a number 1 contender match going on right now in NXT between Axiom, Dragon Lee, Tyler Bate, and Trick Williams. Let's see, a little math here. Axiom, he already beat. Dragon Lee, he's beaten twice. Has not faced Tyler Bate or Trick Williams, though, which is interesting. But either way, I'm picking Dirty Dom to retain.
I'm also picking Dirty Dom. I would go out on a limb and say Trick Williams wins this because of the interaction with Carmelo last week. That would be my thought.
Like that. I think Trick deserves it, but I have a feeling it's going to be Tyler Bate.
Okay, Tyler Bate.
We'll see. I mean, by the time people listen to this, one of us are going to be Ron. Maybe both of us are going to be Ron.
If Axiom's there, it's more like an ambient. I mean, that's just the way it is.
What did Rhea call him? She's like,
Batman.
She had a funny joke in when they were doing when they first got down there in the parking lot and they were just making fun of her. And she's like, "This one's got a." I don't remember what she said. It was
this one's got a math equation to him.
Yeah. Oh my god, that fucking math gimmick. Yeah, I can never take him seriously because of that. Next up, we have a singles match for the NXT Championship. Carmelo Hayes defends against Ilya Dragunov in a rematch. This first match was a potential match of the year. The only reason Ilya lost was because of Trick. There's no Trick in this one, Nestlemania, but Melo don't miss. Ilya's numbers going back in the rafters. Give me Melo to retain.
Melo don't miss. Melo don't ever take a second fiddle to nobody, obviously, so he's going to win this one. I just feel like whoever wins this matchup doesn't matter. We think it's Mello, but if it was Ilya, the other one has to leave. Like, I feel like both of them need to go.
I've been ready for Ilya to be called up for a while.
Like Braun, like Doug said, Braun Breaker needs to come up. Ilya, Mello, maybe not Trick right now, but there are people that like need to eventually.
I think Braun's okay right now because they found a way with this, like the Vaughn feud and now the Corbin feud, of making him still feel really special and letting him showcase a different side of him. But yes, eventually that road's going to run out, and maybe it is after Corbin. But yeah, Ilya, this feels like the end of the line. It's put up or shut up time for him. So we shall see. But Nestlemania, I saved this for last on purpose because I think it's going to be the main event. Becky Lynch defending the NXT Women's Championship against Tiffany Stratton in an Extreme Rules match. I mean, this screams bloody Becky picking up the bloody win and going on to face Tegan Knox on Monday.
I would imagine that you are right. I will pick Becky Lynch because obviously she needs to continue doing her open challenges on Monday Night Raw for absolutely no reason. However, I think this is going to be, we're going to come back on this program next week and we're going to say, holy shit, Tiffany Stratton got some edge. Tiffany Stratton became a woman in this matchup. I don't think she's too pretty with her moonsaults. She's too pretty overall. There's not a lot of edge and viciousness with her. I think this is where we turn that script. We see that new gear that she's going to get because that voice is annoying and high pitch and it sounds like only dogs can hear her. And then now she has this matchup. She's going to have a little bass in her voice after this one, I think.
All right. Well, that wraps it up, Nestlemania. That was a lot of predictions.
Well, there's also apparently a D'Angelo family tag team match, but they haven't decided that yet. So
motherfucker. Well,
we'll get there on our own time.
They're going to retain.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll put it down later. Doug, thanks for joining us. Everybody else that was here, awesome stuff as usual. Thank you for listening and watching the Jobber Knocker. We'll be back next week with more Jobber Knockery.
You're a weirdo.